If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
At Coppell Chevrolet GMC, we are thankful for so many things this year, starting with our great employees, a generous community, our military personnel, and most importantly, our loyal customer base that continues to drive that money-saving mile of Louisville. Hi, this is Sean Callahan, and on behalf of everybody at Coppell, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever they may take you. Happy holiday, Chevrolet GMC.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is Big Red Birdies with Nebraska golfers Lindsey Teal and Megan Whitaker on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Big Red Birdies here at 93.7 The Ticket. This is Lindsey Teal. I'm here with my teammate Megan Whitaker, and we have another guest on here for today. But before we get to that, we can kind of just recap what's been going on the past few weeks for me and Megan here, still in our off season for golf. So
yes, we are still going. We only have about 2.5 weeks left of class. We've got dead week next week, and then finals, and then all of us on the golf team will head back home. We've got girls from 5 different countries, I think. So they will all be flying out and making very long trips back to their countries.
Yeah,
so
I think the longest one, it'll take about 24 hours for her to get home.
Yes.
And with the time change and everything, she'll either jump forward to the next day or come. I can't remember exactly how that goes. But yeah, we're going to be dispersing everywhere, all over the world, for our month off for Christmas. So we're all very excited for that. Very excited. Definitely for a break from school.
Yeah.
We're kind of back into our practice, as we've talked about, with our off season for golf. And so that'll look a bit more individualized over the next month as we kind of head home. And each person can kind of practice with their coaches back home, their swing coaches, or just kind of on their own. And then we'll check in with each other. But it looks a little bit different since we're not all coming together each day for team practices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's sometimes nice to be able to go home, just to be able to work with your swing coach and kind of have the flexibility within your day of when to practice. But I think after a month, we will all be ready to come back and practice together. Yeah.
Yeah. And then these last few weeks, we're taking, I guess next week, we can't, with NCAA rules, we can't really work with the coaches. So we're just kind of on our own for that and for working out. I guess they do that so that we study for our finals. They want us to be doing that. Then it's Christmas, so we'll be back home, and then that's the end of our off season. So then once we get back in January, we'll be full speed ahead right back into the season. So that flew by. I feel like we were just sitting here talking about how our off season was starting, and we were talking about how fast fall season went. And now we're almost back into spring season.
And when spring season comes, it will come fast. I think we have a minimum of 6 tournaments starting the very first week of February. So we will hit the road. I think Florida's our first event, and then we go to Arizona, South Carolina, Arizona again. So we have a lot of fun trips ready for us in the spring.
All places warm.
Yes.
Yeah. It was funny. I was talking to one of our teammates the other day, and she's from Mexico. So she's going to go back home. And we were just talking about what we're going to be doing for practice and what that's going to look like. And she was like, oh, yeah, I'll just be, on my home course. It's going to be 85 degrees every day. I was like, that's going to look a lot different than what my practice is going to look like the next month, mostly inside in
for both of us.
Simulator or something like that. Me and Megan will be here kind of back and forth between Lincoln and home. But it'll look different for all of us. The other thing is, it's kind of different with us all being apart for a month, and we really want to try and make sure we maintain our team culture and still keep in touch and talk to each other as much as we can while still taking a break. So we've kind of been talking about some ideas with that too, and trying to just schedule team phone calls or stuff like that, just so we can stay in touch and kind of hold each other accountable too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just such a long time. I know even a few years ago, Christmas break was only 2 or 3 weeks, and this one's closer to 4, maybe 5 weeks.
It's a long
It's a
one.
long time.
I feel like in the past years we've started back with school earlier.
Hmm.
I don't know. This one we don't start until end of January.
Like the
pretty
last week of
much.
January. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will be a long time. We were trying to find a weekly FaceTime
Mhm.
call that could line up between all of us, but I don't know. We were looking at it, but with the time changes.
Yeah, we've got people 3 hours behind us and 15 hours ahead. So I don't know how that's going to
Someone
work.
would have to FaceTime at 3 a.m. or
Yeah.
something like that, so we may not get that done.
We'll
but-
see. We'll see if we can figure something out. I don't know yet.
Yeah, that's just a crazy concept that we have girls that we're with every single day, and then in 2 weeks we're gonna be so far, like
Mhm.
on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. Yeah, but for today, we can go ahead and bring her in. I have another one of my sisters on here today, so we're just going on down through the line. But we have my sister Hannah in today, so she is in the line of us girls. She is the second, and I'm the third. So she's my next older sister right above me. And she's 4 years older than me, so we got to play 1 year together at the university. She played golf here as well, and then I'll kind of let her give her own introduction and let us know what she's doing these days.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on, you guys. I've been looking forward to this for so long. About time you called me up. Yeah, wow. I'm super excited to be on. Yeah, like Lindsay said, we had 1 year together when I was a senior. She was a freshman. Megan and I had many years together.
We did.
Yeah, we go way back.
We had 3 years, right?
3 whole
Yeah.
years.
Wow.
Yes. Many good memories, many hilarious times with both of you. Yeah, so anyway, I graduated May of 2021, played for 4 years. And during that time, I also got to play with Lindsay and I's oldest sister, Haley, for 3 years as well, because she had a 5th year in there, as I'm sure you heard about. So yeah, I got to play a lot of years with my sisters. Each year I had a sister on the team, which was really neat.
Oh,
for
wow.
me.
I had never thought that
Yeah.
through.
Isn't that neat?
That's true.
Really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so I graduated in 2021, and now I'm working on my master's in marriage and family therapy, actually, here at the university as well. So I am now in my 2nd year of that. I'll graduate in less than a year with a master's.
Wow.
Woo! Super exciting. Yeah, 6 years of college later. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with that now.
Yeah, you're getting really close to the end.
Yes. Oh, it feels good, but also totally worth it. Like, absolutely, advanced education, go for it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it'll definitely serve you well in your career and
Yeah.
all of that.
Absolutely.
And just so you guys know, our text line is open if you have any questions for Hannah or for me and Megan as we kind of get into our segments today. And that is the Starter Haven text line at 402-464-5685. So hit us up with any questions that you guys have.
Yeah. So Hannah, I've got just some questions. I mean, I know quite a bit about you, but just for the listeners out there, what would you say were some of the things that you took away from college golf that you now use? Just, I mean, between balancing everything, time commitments, all those things that you've learned as an athlete now to your masters.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Yeah, it's super intense getting a master's in a clinical program, very intense. And no doubt my 4 years as an athlete prepared me very well for that. I kind of experienced it as an athlete, you know, half your day you're doing athlete things, you're doing your sport, you're lifting, you're working out, nutrition, all the different things. And the other half of the day you're doing your school stuff. And yeah, with school now it kind of goes school to school. So the whole day is school. But still, yeah, that time commitment is very real. And so, yeah, golf for sure prepared me for that, to be able to manage my time. And yeah, I think just like commitment and dedication to what you're passionate about has carried over for me beyond athletics. And so, yeah, putting in the work in all areas to get that degree, to achieve what you're going for, has been a theme of my life for sure in college. Yeah, I think thinking, you know, bigger and just having a much different perspective on things since I've graduated. Yeah, now that I don't really have somebody, you know, like a coach or teammates, for instance, or sisters doing what I am right alongside me, there's a lot more just, the responsibility and accountability of yourself to make yourself better in all areas of life. And I think one thing that I've missed a lot for sure is just, that like physical health piece that you take care of just naturally when you're a college athlete, and being disciplined enough now to do some of that on my own. But it's a lot different when you don't have teammates pushing you right alongside you. What I learned as far as time commitment and dedication to what you're passionate about, and pursuing your dreams, so important. I feel
like something that's pretty common among athletes when they're playing a sport in college is then going on to even further school when they're done. And I don't know if that's an achiever part and just something that we've learned to where we're always kind of pushing for more. But Megan, you're pursuing your master's degree right now. You're in your master's program. I have future post-grad goals as well, in education. And so did you always know that was something you wanted to do, to go on to further school, or how did that kind of all come about?
Yeah, such a good question. Yeah, definitely. I always knew I wasn't just going to be done after 4 years. I think a lot of that is just always me wanting to be doing something and working towards something. Just wanting to like achieve the next level, not in athletics, but also in professional world and life and all those things. It I think had the biggest impact on me of just being used to that busyness of life. And it's interesting because now it's like full-time school, full-time job. And coming into grad school with that, knowing how to balance all of those things at once has helped me a lot, as I kind of see, my peers around me who maybe didn't play a college sport or have things outside of their school, and kind of how that has benefited me a lot. But I think you're right, as far as athletes, like that is such a common theme going on for continued education. And I think there's a lot of pieces to that. It's like, you find something you're passionate about and you're going to achieve it no matter what. Like that's what your mind is set on and you're going to do it.
Yeah.
I think, just being used to, having something that you really enjoy and are passionate about and working towards it. So total theme. Absolutely. There's a lot of athletes, I think, in post-graduation programs and studies.
Yeah. What was that transition like, though, going from, you played, I grew up in the house with you, so you were playing sports from a very, very young age.
Yeah.
3-sport athlete up until high school and then turned to just golf for college. Very full-time, though. So then what was that like, just going to no sport for the very first time when you were 21, 22 years old?
Yes.
And then just going to full-time school?
Not easy. After about 20 years of playing a sport and then one day you just are done cold turkey, like that's, it's something I don't think that's spoken about much. Like you're also just kind of expected to move on. And I was actually reflecting on this recently. Like there's not many like programs offered as far as if it's things that help your physical health, but of course, me being in the mental health field now, like there's no mental health support, like specifically for athletes who have graduated. I was thinking about it because absolutely in undergrad, I loved meeting with the psychologists, the sports psychologists that we had. And I know a lot of athletes take advantage of that, but it was interesting because when I graduated, that part of my life just dropped off. And like, I was so used to having that support. And then like, okay, just go out and figure that out on your own. So I did, I guess, as I'm becoming a professional in that field, that's where I went with that. But it's definitely, it's tough because you just know like this one way of life and not many other people do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's very much a shared bonding experience with people that you do have that no one else can actually fully understand unless you're living it, you've experienced it. And so I think that was tough for me, just, not having people around me that can truly understand what those 4 or 5 years is like. But then even after that, like what the transition is like, because you realize how much support you have, the people that are lifting you up around you all the time, because you can hit a ball with a stick. Like, what an odd concept, or you think of the other sports, like throw a leather ball in a net. Like it's so interesting, or go run a mile. And so just thinking bigger on those things, like, wow, like there was so much for me there because I dedicated my life to this. And now like it's been really important for me to build my life up around me and the people, like have people in my life that do support me with what I'm doing now and can kind of understand that. But at the same time, like keeping the connections with former teammates and just friends that were also athletes and people in the athletic department and all those connections and relationships that I made in undergrad, whether that was, with life skills, with psychology, with nutrition, with strength training and Eric and John and all those great guys. And just like friends that I made during that time and people who have actually gone on with their sport then even past that, or past roommates and stuff like that. So it's been super, super important for me to just like branch out and kind of, form my life around this new thing. So really tough transition that not a lot of people talk about, but it's been really beautiful at the same time. Yeah.
What would you say I think we'll talk later about our favorite memories of being teammates, but what is something that you just loved about playing golf in Nebraska? Because I mean, when did you commit to play golf? It was
I was in 8th grade.
8th grade. That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this jogs my memory a lot. Yeah, I was very early committing. I think there's a lot when I look back on that. Like growing up in Nebraska and a Husker fan literally from birth, like I always knew I wanted to play for the Huskers. I wanted to represent my home state, do all those things that a young boy or girl dreams of when they grow up and love sports and see all of their role models doing that. It's like, why wouldn't I want to do that? For me, it was always just, it's like I never really second guessed it. Like I was always just going to go in that direction. And so, when Coach Craffle gave me that opportunity at a very young age, when I look back now, I'm like, oh my goodness,
14?
Coach Craffle, if you're listening, wow, you really believed in me. I mean, it was just, I was really blessed at that age to, kind of have an early start. And so, in 8th grade, I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing. And so in a really cool way, it took so much stress off of me to then, enter into high school and like prepare for that without worrying about where am I going to college, what coaches do I need to be talking to, like all these different things.
Yeah, your recruiting process was already done by the time you started high school. Yeah,
which is such an odd experience. I'm like, what was that? You
know? And so different from how it's done now. Like you had a very unique experience in that being taken care of so early, when now that can't even really start almost until your junior year.
Yeah.
That's a big age gap.
It was so interesting. I really, like, I never looked back. I never second guessed that either. I really do have an interesting journey. So many things that I haven't thought about in a while. But I really didn't expect my college golf to go the way that it did, though, to be honest. Like, no part of that is what I expected. I don't know if a lot of people would know, but of course you guys know, but my senior year of high school. So during high school, I was a 3-sport athlete, of course, basketball, volleyball, and boys golf, as we did not have a girls golf team, I'm sure. Yeah. Haley and you guys have shared all about that. But anyway, and so did all the sports all growing up, which is also a unique experience. That's not common for a lot of people to be able to do now. So even that, huge blessing, huge gift when I look back. And like truly playing those as much as I wanted to. I loved it. My senior year of high school basketball season, right about this time, it was in December. That would have been 2016. Wow. 6 years ago. I suffered a pretty bad back injury, which took me out from January all the way up till August when I came here at UNL for my freshman year of college. So those crucial 9 months when you're like, this is where I'm putting, like, I am going all out. Absolutely. And so that really startled me in many ways. It was, it was a tough time because I didn't get to finish out basketball season. I did not get to play that senior year of golf in high school, which was tough. That would have been really special. But anyway, so I was just out for 9 months, and then mid-August rolls around and hello world, I am on campus. Here I am. I have not held a golf club in months. And so, just came into college pretty disoriented and not at all like prepared as I thought it would be in really any aspect, especially golf wise. And then at the same time, like, yeah, it was tough because you have all this expectation on you. Like, all right, this girl committed in 8th grade. Like, who is this? Like, oh, she's got to be real good. And so just like all that, like all that pressure and like all these hopes that I had for like what that time would look like was nowhere near that. So yeah, I had to take many, many, many steps back. But thankfully by August, I could fully swing and, I was ready to go in some aspect. And so I didn't redshirt. I thought about it for quite a while. But I truly felt ready. So I just kind of entered into it. But yeah, it was really tough. And, I didn't get surgery because I knew that would put me back even more. And so even since I haven't had the surgery yet, but yeah, it was a torn and bulging disc. So pretty heavy in my lower back. And so, yeah, not something that just goes away. And so I did heavy PT for 9 months. And then also, of course, into college for all of college. So for pretty much till I graduated. And they, the doctors kind of told me, like, either you get surgery and you take some time off and then, kind of start up your sophomore year, or, you know what, just go for it. And if you feel confident, don't look back. And so that's what I did. But yeah, I'm incredibly grateful to my parents as they traveled all over the US for me and going to doctors in Texas and just everywhere to really find the best of the best. And they sure did. Looking back, I don't regret that decision at all. Because it was a wonderful college experience. But yeah, I owe all of that to my parents and my family and sisters and just everybody around me for the support that they did give me and how tough that was. Yeah. And so that was pretty much that journey coming in. So
yeah, you have a great story. We'll definitely get more into it with our second segment here, but we're going to go to a quick break. This is Lindsay Teal and Megan Whitaker here with a guest, Hannah Teal, on Big Red Birdies at 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, we all do a little, we change a lot.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy. Or you, your best man. Your worst man. You, your dog walker. Your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to Big Red Birdies with Lindsay Teal and Megan Whitaker on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Big Red Birdies here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Megan Whitaker here with Lindsay Teal and her sister Hannah. We haven't done this in it seems like it's been a while since we've done a true or quirky question, so time to bring it back. Since we were all teammates together for your freshman year, yes, and I was teammates with Hannah for 3 years. So the question I should say is, what is your favorite memory on any of the teams that we were a part of? And we will share ours as well.
Who wants to start? Yeah, who wants to start? Oh my gosh.
You've got it. You're our guest.
Okay. Wow. I have so many. Gosh.
You can share 2 also if you want, because there are different teams with Megan and then with me.
Yeah.
Or just one. Whatever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Gosh. Maybe Megan, you go first.
Okay.
I gotta weed out. I got so many in my head right now.
One of my favorite ones, we were at Ohio State. I think it was my freshman year. We were at Ohio State, and we had played 36 holes the day before in the pouring rain, and we had played 18 holes. And we come in, and Coach Robin at the time said, "Okay, girls, go pack up the car. We have to drive home." I said, "What do you mean? We should just drive to the airport?" And she's like, "No, our flight got canceled. We're driving home from Columbus, Ohio." And it's already like 4 p.m. And it was just Hannah and I. Kate was in the front seat, and it was just you and
I was
I.
in the front
Oh,
seat.
you were in the front seat.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
13 hours
13
in
hours.
the front seat.
Yes. And it got to the point where everyone was beyond delusional at 3 a.m. And then we had to stop in Omaha to pick up the car and drop off the rental car. We couldn't find the car. And Hannah and I, we just kept looking at each other, just dying laughing the entire time. I mean, I think we laughed for over 2 hours.
Oh, yes.
We couldn't stop.
Oh, yes. We listened to the beautiful singing of Coach Robin Krappel
We
as well.
did.
That was awesome. It was quite an experience. Yeah. Everybody just get in the car and let's drive for 13 hours because we can't fly home.
After a tournament.
Oh, yeah.
After.
Oh, my gosh.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know how delusional we get on our flights home.
Mhm.
And the flight experience is like 5 hours, maybe, airports and flights. But wow, that is a long time
And
after a tournament.
I think we got in at 3 or 4 in the morning on a Monday, and then we left on Wednesday at 8 a.m. for Big Tens. So we flew right back. And the funniest thing is we flew right back to Ohio, where we just were.
So you could have just
Yep.
stayed literally
days.
like a day and a half.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
But
Couldn't
we-
because of some regulations with having to be back at school or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. it
So
was insane.
I would have to say that was one of the best ones because it was just so funny. The entire thing was just so funny. I remember also running across the street for Taco Bell. I don't even know what state we
made
were in.
so many food stops.
We did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Panera. That was a good one. Oh yeah, good stuff. I won't forget that. Ohio State, a lot of memories there. So many memories. Terrible weather.
Cold memories.
Cold memories. Thinking of cold memories, yes. I think this was my senior year. Us three plus one of our other teammates decided to drive down to Colbert Hills, K-State's course. And probably the coldest day of the year and play 18 holes. Bitterly cold. So we drive down there, step up to the tee, shank straight out of bounds. Like, it's going to be a long day. But I will never forget that. We ended up Instagramming the entire round, actually.
We did for the women's golf account.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, we were gonna do like a fun little takeover thing because it had been a while since any of us had like been able to play outside because I think it was
January or
It was
February.
January.
Yeah.
So it was one of the first times outside.
And that was that year when my freshman year, that COVID year, was when there was so much snow on the ground. Like we had our first 2 days of school canceled because of
that's
snow.
when the
It
huge
was like
storm. Yeah.
I don't know how many inches, but there was just snow everywhere for months. And so that's why we went down to Colbert Hills because for whatever reason there was no snow there, even though it was only 2.5 hours away. So we just made a little day trip.
Yep. Playing in that snow. It always served us well for Big Tens. Back up in oh my gosh. Yeah, we were up in the snow all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was a fun trip though. Yeah, we did a little Instagram takeovers and we had I'm trying to think of what kind of match we had going on.
It was you
like
two
a
against
scramble match?
Yeah,
or
it was like some sort of best ball something. We had the roommates versus the Teals. I'm pretty sure because it was my roommate. Yeah,
It was a lot of fun. There was like some smack talk going back and forth and we were like just filming it all. It was a blast.
Oh, it was good.
I liked that too. Yeah, and that was one of the that was during that year when me and you got to play together. So that was just like really good bonding time for us too.
It
I
was
think.
special. Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, you took mine. That was definitely my favorite memory. Also, I think in a more general sense, this is very general, but just being able to experience what it all was with a sister on the team was really special. And just having someone who like understands what all of it is, that's also within your family, which I also got with Haley, I guess, but just in different years. But yeah, just having that and even just like getting to campus as a little freshman and just scared out of my mind and just like, this seems really big to me. Where do I go? What do I do? Like, I'm going to get yelled at, just like terrified of everything. That just really helped having you there. And I feel like at that point, I mean, you were a senior, so you just kind of like knew the ropes, you knew everything. So you were just very like calm, cool, and collected. Really nothing got to you. So just your demeanor matching my demeanor, like very much helped me calm down. Just going through all those little things with you and just like, that was the COVID year. So that was just craziness in general, but there aren't a lot of people who understand what that was like to play a sport during that time. And so just having that, all three of us just got to experience like just crazy things together that year. Like temperature checks at 7 a.m. and like COVID tests up the nose 4 times a week, and all those like just little memories that we hated at the time, but it's really funny to look back on.
Totally.
It was cool to experience that with a sister. So
yeah,
all of that.
That's sweet. Absolutely. I definitely knew what that was like. And also what it was like to then what it was like to have a sister there. And so then being the older one, then I was like, okay, this is my role. And I think my senior year I definitely kind of stepped into that mom role. I felt like
You
the
did.
mom on the
You
team.
did.
I kind of loved that.
And you were older. You were a lot older.
Yeah, I mean, I graduated when I was 23, fresh 23, a little bit older. Yeah, came in when I was 19. So yeah, I just always felt a little bit older and like the mom, and pretty natural for me. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. How was Haley that way for you?
Yeah,
She was.
absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Haley was definitely, she showed me the ropes, and it was incredibly helpful that, to have an older sister who knew all the people in the athletic department and like introduce you to the team, and just to be there, when maybe you have a bad day or you're a scared little freshman and you're like, what am I doing in this big world? So I knew what all of those feelings were like, and then kind of what Lindsay as a younger sister and just the younger girls on the team would need in somebody to kind of be there for them.
Yeah. I have this specific memory too. My freshman year, it was when we first got our gear. And I don't know if you remember this, but we were at Wilderness Ridge and we had just gotten all of our gear. So they like set it all out. And, I'm just like, eyes so big and like, can't believe this is happening. And I was just like going crazy. I was so excited.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember Hannah had me like try all of it on at once and like put on as many of the clothes we had and like throw all the bags on me and like just like hold all the gear that we got or wear it. And then she took a picture of me and like sent it to my family and said like the most freshman thing ever or something like that. But yeah, just little dumb stuff like that is just so fun to look back on. And
absolutely. Yeah, it kills me.
Just
All those
good stuff.
pictures. Yeah, super sweet.
Yeah. Now, us three also have something pretty unique in that we played junior golf together too. So us three have been together for a very long time. What was that like, I guess, in different perspectives, kind of all of us, I guess, playing against each other from when we were younger.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this today at practice. I was saying how one of the very first NGA tournament was the match play at Kearney Country Club that I played at. And I remember I had never played in like a big tournament. I had just played high school golf, and I was after my freshman year, and my parents and I talked like, okay, I think we're ready, and I look at the bracket, and I didn't really know anyone at that point. I was like, I didn't recognize like any name, and we had heard about the Teal family. We thought it was Teal at the time. We didn't even know how to say it. And I looked at the bracket and I said, if I won every match, I would have a different Teal every single round. And I played you like the first or second round, and then I played you, and I just remember being so blown away at how consistent your golf was, because it was just fairway and green and fairway and green. And I think you won that week, didn't you, at Kearney Country Club?
Yeah, I think
it was a long time ago. You guys, I don't know. I can't keep it all
I'm pretty
straight.
sure she won.
I think so too.
Very
You had a
sweet.
lot of success in junior golf.
Well,
You pretty much took all the titles there for a while.
You did.
Oh, you guys are too kind.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time to learn from Haley, who took many of the titles as well.
She did.
Yeah.
She really did.
Yeah.
I remember playing against you in match play
Yeah.
1 year. Like it was, I think it was also my first year at match play.
Yeah.
And then we got paired together, and that was
Yep.
an interesting dynamic. That was our first time like playing against each other.
And not just
that would be hard, playing against your sister in a
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah.
Who do your parents root for?
They like don't say.
They clap for the good shots.
Yeah,
They
that's
clap
what
for the
that's
good
what
Mom and Dad
always say.
listening, you know exactly what we're talking about.
They get that question all the time, and they're always like, "Oh, we cheer for the good shots."
Yeah. Yep. But no, I looking back, heck, Haley and I went head to head.
Yeah.
So many championship matches, and so then when it came Lindsay's turn, I was used to a little bit, but different dynamic, because it's just not all fun and games at that point. You're like, all right,
It's not like playing at home.
exactly. But really special times when I look back at those. And with Megan, the first thing that popped into my head in junior golf, I just remember you would always wear bright hunter's orange.
I would.
Like, that is all. You had this hat, but even better, you had shorts.
We
I
just
did.
talked about that this
We
morning
did.
at practice.
That was what Lindsay said she remembered as well.
The orange Titleist hat, it was your staple.
It was memorable.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very much
You
so.
did wear orange. Yeah.
Yeah, junior golf was so much fun. It was.
Yeah. I have this memory of you and Haley were playing head to head, and then you had me and Lauren caddying for you. So it was just like a whole family affair. That was a lot of fun. We did
Oh,
though.
it
Yeah.
was.
We had lots of times where we just were all able to play together. So we'll go ahead and cut to break again and then be back for our third segment. This is Lindsay Teal and Megan Whitaker here with our guest Hannah Teal on Big Red Birdies at 93.7 The Ticket.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it. Slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it. Slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor.
To you adult blood pressure. That's why it's important to monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association. In partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money. But like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
All I'm simply saying is I hope that this was the best hire because we need the best hire here. And only time will tell if this was the best hire. But you gave him $9 million.
But that's the price of doing business if you're going to be in Nebraska. If you go out and say
9?
Yeah.
Did you think it was going to take 9?
I don't worry about the money because Nebraska told me not to, and when they throw away 7.5 for Scott Frost in 2 weeks left.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I don't care. Yeah, no, they're swimming in money. I don't care what they're doing.
It's crazy.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back to Big Red Birdies with Lindsay Teal and Megan Whitaker on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our final segment here on Big Red Birdies. I'm Megan Whitaker here with Lindsay Teal and Hannah Teal. It looked like over the break we had a text come through.
Yeah, we've got a text here for you, Hannah. A question. What was your favorite sport in high school or growing up? Or were they different?
Great question. Yeah, gosh, I was the kid even before high school that played all the things: softball, soccer, we did swim lessons, all the stuff. But then, as getting into high school, it was basketball, volleyball, and golf. And yeah, that's it's a good question because I think for a long time, golf and volleyball were on very equal planes for me. Did a lot of club sports as well before kind of channeling things towards golf. But yeah, even for a little bit, I was like, am I going to play college volleyball? Like, is that going to be a thing? And I always loved basketball as well. But I would say mostly, volleyball and golf. And so, but golf won out for sure. I definitely can say it was my favorite sport. It was, it fits my personality well, I think, too.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
It does.
It really does. And so I think I naturally just kind of morphed into that. But also just seeing the most potential there and opportunity more so than volleyball anyway. And, wanting to achieve the highest level that I could, I saw that with golf. It's a lot tougher to do that with volleyball. I mean, I'm pretty average size, I guess, 5'8", a little taller, but not tall enough to be a hitter like I would have wanted to, like I did in high school. So
this is actually something I don't think I've talked to you about before, but it came to my head when you were saying your personality is just kind of fits for golf.
Yeah.
Do you feel like with your personality you were kind of like the mental side was I feel like that was one of your strengths, or did you feel like it was, or kind of talk about that or how that played into your personality?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you guys would agree. I'm generally quieter person. I'm a pretty interior person, I guess. I love to listen so much more than I love to talk. Makes a lot of sense with my profession.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
As a marriage and family therapist, now that I think about it. And so, I mean, I think it was definitely a strength of my game. Kind of always was. I think especially if one area of my game wasn't going well, if it was, putting or around the green or iron shots, whatever. But the mental game was always there for me. Just being able to stay, I think, steady in the present moment, and just always going back to the basics, when there were some bigger moments in golf where like a lot was on the line or whatever it was. And it's interesting though, because on the flip side too, then it's easy to kind of stay in my head, you know what I mean? And and kind of just live there for a while, you know what I mean? So definitely a strength though, which I think just has carried me throughout life as well, like mental toughness, like you just kind of grit your teeth and get through hard things, and that's what you do. And so it's carried over to other places in my life, and that absolutely stemmed from the golf course. Like I have golf to thank for kind of my ability to do things that I do now. Which is really interesting, that you bring that up, and when I look back and what I do now.
Well, I hadn't even really thought about it, because I feel like when I was watching you golf more, which was like in high school and junior golf, I don't think I was old enough or emotionally mature enough to know even what like mental anything was on the golf course. Like I just didn't I didn't know any of the mental side of golf at that time. But now kind of looking back and all of the work that we've been doing with mental training and stuff like that, I feel like you were very solid at that. Even from like a young age, it was just something that kind
Mhm.
of came naturally. You were just always calm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I remember you and I played a lot back to back.
Oh yeah.
Like we were well, yeah, and in
That
like
years.
college, you would
Yeah.
always be right in front of me, or I'd be right in front of you, and I know I could never tell where you were at, which was actually so nice as a teammate. It was like, okay, she could be shooting 67 or 80. It does like because your
Yeah.
body language
Yeah.
just stayed the same, which is very nice from a teammate that
Yeah.
you never get super down and you're never too high. You just stayed very calm and steady, which I think that you need that in golf. You just can't
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
emotional roller coaster all the time.
And Megan, that's how I feel like you are. Also, when I play behind or in front of you, it's the same thing. I can't. You do
You're
a very
steady.
good job too. I
Mhm.
can't tell.
Yeah, that's very sweet of you. I think I always loved, we were always kind of one hole away from each other,
Mhm.
and you're very gifted. Both of you are too in that. But yeah, it's it was kind of something I looked at, like when I can't control what's going on around me, how my game is, if it's a bad day, or just things going on around me, I can always control what's in my mind and how I'm composing myself. And so yeah, I think I took a lot of pride in that. Yeah, just ever since playing golf, like you do keep your composure, you keep your emotions in check. You don't get too crazy out there. You don't throw clubs, all that kind of stuff. But have our parents to thank for that as well. That was the first thing they taught us. You keep your composure. So yeah, I really, really honed in on that one.
Yeah, I could never
But-
see you throwing a club.
That wouldn't match your personality
doesn't fit.
either. No.
No.
Yeah.
And then just this is kind of going back to what we first started with, but I kind of wanted to finish up with this because just wanted to hear what you had to say on some of it. But you were kind of talking about your life once athletics are over and kind of that abrupt
Mhm.
switch, which I feel like is a very real thing for athletes. But from what I've heard, I guess from people who have been done or that are graduating, is that it's something that you don't really hear about or talk about until it happens, and then you're like, oh wow,
Mhm.
this has happened. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to
Mhm.
hear what you thought about that, because I feel like we have also talked about it. We kind of experience it also, even just the seasonal switch from in season to off season, and that ability to kind of slow down a little bit, or I guess inability to, if you will. But
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very real thing. Very true. Like, it wasn't something that I was like prepared for. You know what I mean? Like in a real sense. Like, yeah, people say like, okay, wow, you're gonna have a lot more time on your hands. Like, man, you aren't gonna have all these things you're required to do. So like that in your head when you approach graduation and the end of your career and all these things. But it's not the same until you're living it. And like then all the fans go away, your sport kind of goes away, your team kind of goes away, and just like all this stuff that you are so used to, like you don't even think about it because it's just your life. Like it's really tough to get outside of that.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
it's but I think it's important to also like fill up your time with other things that are important as well. So.
yeah, no, that's a really good point. Well, we've loved having you on.
Yes.
Here, Hannah, this has been great. Thanks so much for being on
Thank
here.
you.
I've loved it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. We'll be back next week. This is Lindsay Teal and Megan Whitaker here on Big Red Birdies at 93.7 The Ticket. Have a great night.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get them back out. There's no need to stop thanks to Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle is home to Lincoln's best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golfer, with everything from casual games for the kids to hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
In today's day and age, people are trying to do more and more projects by themselves. That might be better on the wallet, but it can also lead to